All right. So, how do you get your wife to talk about the marriage when she doesn't want to, when she's not opening up, when she's shut down? I can't tell you how many times I get this question from men. And it's a great question. It's understandable because you're sitting here trying to do everything you can to get the marriage back on track. And she's just sitting there shut down, not talking about it, not giving you any updates on if she still wants to leave. Is she feeling any better? She feeling like there's improvements? It's maddening. Right. So I understand. And on this video, I really want to help walk you through how to look at this and what you need to do specifically to help her open back up and start talking about the relationship. So first, let's talk about, why do you even want her to open up and start talking about the marriage? And there are some very good reasons and there's some very poor reasons. And most guys fall into the poor reasons for this. And the biggest one is you want reassurance, right? You want reassurance. You're looking for some security. You're trying to make sure that she's not walking out the door tomorrow, or if you're already separated, that she's not about to drop papers on you or break apart the family. Like, it's understandable, but that's really your own anxiety kicking in, right? It's not about her. It's about making yourself feel better. And if that's what's driving you, you're better off just not doing it. I'll talk about that some more later. The next thing is that you're trying to get the conversation open so you can change your mind. So you can say some magic words or have some magic conversation that's going to get her to let go of the years of damage, the years of pain, frustration, and want to work on it. I haven't seen that happen. Like, in all of who I worked with, I've never seen that conversation actually happen. It's usually a series of conversations off the back of real change, real hope that have been inspired in her through your actions. So if that's your motivation, you're probably wasting your time there too. There are better places to focus, which I will talk about in just a second. Then another one is, you're essentially trying to just get her to, like, do something, like move, like you're stuck. You feel like you've been in this gray area for so long that you just want to move forward in one direction or another, which is closer to a good reason. Is still off because it's still from like your own sense of unease, like your internal sense of frustration trying to move forward, and doing it from that place isn't going to work either. But I will show you also how to address that one as well. So before we talk about into the how to get her to open up, let's really talk about why she isn't opening up in the first place. Because if you can see it from this lens, the rest of it really makes sense. And the biggest reason why she's not opening up to you is because she doesn't feel safe opening up to you. She doesn't feel like she can share where she's really at from you or to you. And that's typically because when she has in the past, there's been some reactivity. There's been some defensiveness. There's been some trying to like force her to be like, well, give me examples. Things like that, which can be invalidating, dismissing, disconnecting, and it just doesn't create an environment where she wants to open up into. Another one is, she also doesn't think you can handle it, right? She told you the full weight of what she's feeling, the intensity of what she's feeling. She feels like she would either hurt you, you would collapse, you would freak out, maybe you would go to retaliation or something along those lines. And because of that, she doesn't want to share these things with you, right? Or that she doesn't believe by sharing it with you, it will help anything, right? She feels defeated. She feels deflated. She feels like none of this will actually make any difference. So why even bother having a conversation? And this is going to depend on whether you're doing like an anxious attachment style or avoidant attachment style. Like, those types of things will have a big factor in which one it is, but it doesn't really matter the why or which one it is, just understanding that that's the case. And the last one is that she just doesn't know, that she's just as confused about this as you are, that she's just as in doubt of whether she's making the right move, whether this is real, whether she should work on, whether she should not. She's getting contradictory information from her friends, from social media, from her parents, from you, guilt with the kids. All these things are swirling around that's causing her to basically be paralyzed and not know what to do. right? So these are the reasons why she's not opening up. If you could really take a step back, close your eyes, put yourself in her shoes, feel what she may be feeling right now in all this situation, it will soften you, it will relax you, it will allow you to really approach this in a way that's going to get much better results for you and create a better environment for your wife. Okay. So now let's talk about what to do. Okay. And I highlighted a couple of the key reasons why she's not opening up. The biggest one being safety. And if safety is the issue, then you have to let go of the reactivity. You have to pull that back. You have to pull back the anxiousness. You got to pull back the defensiveness. You got to pull back the blame. You have to pull back the tears. You have to pull back all that, all that back. Because when you get into those moments, that's outward energy. That's energy that's pushing out towards her. And that's going to cause her to want to retreat, to defend. And that is not a safe feeling. So she won't open up. But the thing that I found happens 95% of the time, when my clients pull back that energy, she starts leaning in and sharing what she's really feeling about the marriage and relationship. It almost is a guarantee. Now, you do have to be careful what you wish for, because what she's going to share is almost certainly going to be pain and resentment from the past. And a lot of guys freak out when this happens, because it's usually like the dam breaks and she just floods you with the full intensity of her emotions. And it can feel hopeless, right? It can feel like the situation is just escalated and much worse. Usually when I talk to new clients, I'm like, be prepared for this, because no matter what you think she's really feeling, where it's really at, there's going to be more, and it's usually going to feel worse. But that is part of the process of healing the marriage, is you got to get to the depth of what's really on, where she's really at. And none of this is going to be new information. It's just information she hasn't shared with you yet. So it's not like you're creating this. It's already there. You're just allowing her the safety to share it with you. And from that place, now you can really begin the work. It's why I promote urgency so much in getting started on this ASAP, because no matter how bad you think it is, it's actually probably worse. So you have to get on this now. So that's for safety. Next, we have the can't handle it. She doesn't believe you can handle it. And what you have to do here is really work on your internal sense of security, right? Because if you're still operating from a place of, I can't lose her, my life would be over, I'd be devastated, we can't rebuild, like this is it, this is the one shot, like that pure desperation, like I have to have her. Anything she shares with you is going to collapse you internally. Like you're going to fall apart, and she can sense that. And because she can sense that, she's going to hold back, because your wife is a good person. Otherwise, why would you be with her? She doesn't want to hurt you. She doesn't want to cause you to feel that way. She doesn't have to deal with the pieces of you sitting there broken. So you have to get to a place where you want her, but you don't need her. You would prefer to have her in this marriage, but it's not your only path in life. Now, not to say don't be committed, not to say don't be like single-mindedly focused on this is like what I'm going to work on. I'm going to do everything in my power to turn this around. But it can't be from a place of desperation, right? That doesn't really work, at least not in the long term. So you have to build up your internal sense of security around this. And lastly, and this is the same thing with safety, once she feels like you can handle it, she's going to share more. She's going to open up more about it. Same thing with safety is usually going to be pain and resentment, where she's really at with things. And a lot of times it's going to be negative, and that's going to suck. But it's part of the process. if you're serious and committed to doing this. Now, if you hop on this much earlier before it gets really bad, this is actually pretty easy. If you're on the later stages where like she's already talking about divorce, leaving, you're already separated, it's going to be worse. Just the nature of when you're working on it. It's like treating stage 1 cancer versus stage 4 cancer. So lastly, we have that she doesn't know. Right? She just doesn't know what she wants to do. And this one is probably the most nuanced among them. And first off, it requires you to have patience, but you can't have indefinite patience. Like you can't be sitting here, there's some guys I've talked to where it's like, oh, we've been separated for 2 years. I'm like, why? Hey, what is going on here? And so that's the extreme. And then on the side, say like we've been separated for 2 weeks. And I really want to know what's going to happen. Right. So like there's extremes and on both sides. Like this one requires patience. This one requires you setting boundaries. Right. Because you don't want to be in perpetual limbo. Right. You don't want to try to rush her in the process to solve your anxiousness, like your need for things to move forward. But you also don't want this going indefinitely. And that's why I have all my clients set what I call their outer bounds. So this is the full duration or the full extent to how long you're willing to work on this with nothing changing, right? Have that number in your mind, have that time frame. It may be a couple months, maybe a couple of years. Like there's no right or wrong, but have it in your mind so that you know that, okay, this is the longest I'm going to go, but now that I know that, I can relax into this process because I know that I'm willing to give it this much time. The journey between now and that time is just going to be what it is. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to give her the time. You do not have to share this number, or please don't share this with her. This is for internally. This is for you. But have your outer bounds. And then once you have that outer bounds, now you can just be patient and give her the time and work on it, allow things to develop. And a lot of people are like, okay, so when should I talk about it? So the general rule of thumb for when to talk about it is roughly aim for like a monthly relationship update, 2 weeks on the max, depending on how volatile the situation is. But 2 weeks to a month roughly is how often to have it. If it's a longer standing issue, then you might be looking at 1 to 3 months, but typically between 2 weeks and a month is when you're looking to have an update. That's pretty good rule of thumb. It's different across many things, but this is general rule of thumb. Follow that. And then also if there is a real world logistical thing that's happening. So if you guys have an anniversary plan in 6 months and this big trip internationally or something, and you know that you have to refund the tickets, you have 3 months before a ticket has to be refunded. Well, okay, that's something that you have to force an update on, right? Because like, hey, we have this, I need to know if we're doing this or not. Or, typically for trips, logistical things, that's another reason to force it. But those are typically the only times. Anything outside of that, roughly 2 to 4 weeks, you can have that conversation. The longer you can wait, the better. So, yeah, hopefully that made sense. I got a little more nuanced and tactical than I intended on getting on this video. Hopefully it was helpful. If it was, let me know below so I don't feel like a crazy person. And if you need some additional resources on this, I'm going to link those below. And obviously, if you want some additional help, you're looking for some support, trying to turn your situation around, there'll be a link below. Reach out. We'll see if we can help you. All right. So that's what I got for you in this video. I'll catch you on the next one.